my biddies. How are you? Hi. Good afternoon. Oh, how you liking this weather? I don't know about you, but it's cold here again. It's cold. I woke up this morning. There's actually less snow right now on the ground than there was when I woke up. It's been snowing basically all day. I woke up and I looked out the window and it's like snowing. Dang it! Right, I arranged to. Okay, I just found something weird. Okay. You find things every day on the computers, I swear. God, I didn't know it could do that. I love it. Um, so I took all my bedding off my bed yesterday and discovered that I need a new mattress pad, like desperately. um, so I ordered one from Target because I knew that I would not have to get out of the car. And I ordered a better one than I normally get. So normally I get really cheap $15 ones. I ordered a better one, so hopefully it'll last longer. If it lasts 3 times longer, I'm good. Um, but I ordered that and I put that I was gonna pick it up today. And they'll run it out to your car, no matter how small it is, which is great. Um, Walmart makes you makes you have a minimum amount of purchase. Target does not. So Target gets my money sometimes over Walmart, even though it was way cheaper at Walmart. It's like $10 cheaper. I guess I could have bought the Walmart one and had it delivered for $10, but who wants to do that? So, I mean, I do occasionally. Shh, don't tell the husband. But then I woke up and I looked outside and I'm like, oh, dang it, the roads are going to be terrible. So I checked the school indicator of how the roads really are in your area. None of the schools are out. Their schools closed. The ones close by. So I'm like, oh, okay, it might be okay. So I decided if it's not bad, if I'm not like terrified for my life, I'll get a coffee and then I'll go to Target and have them run out my uh, food. It was above freezing. It was like 37. My food, my mattress. Um, so I opened the garage door and like there's snow everywhere. There is not a bit of snow on my driveway. So I'm like, oh, good, I get coffee. So I went and got coffee this morning. This McDonald's. Um, and then I went to Target and I got my thing and I was back by 10. So I was pretty happy. Now I'm on a little tear. I'm on a tear. Made the mistake of looking at a Facebook post. Um, some guy claimed that attack 99% of the attacks, and he didn't specify what attacks, but I assume he meant on religious entities because we were talking about the synagogue attack, which of course the last attack on a church was in my state nearby, and this one is too. So he's like 99% of Muslims are responsible for all the attacks. Like that's not true. That is not true. So I went and find the mat. It's only the mass shooting or mass attacks. Mass to have a mass attack, you have to have at least 4 people injured, or at least person deceased, other than the perpetrator in the attack. There's one attack that had like literally zero people died, but a few people got hurt because some kids thought it would be fun to throw fireworks into a church. Um, yeah. So it's like even stuff like that's on that list. There were like, I don't even know. There's a list. Like 3 of them were Muslim. I went by names, and one of them might not have been even Muslim. One of them was a guy from Sudan. So he may have been Muslim. He may not have been Muslim, but I put him in the Muslim category just to be on the safe side. There's still only 3, as opposed to like 10, 15 of the other ones. So, no, Muslims are not responsible for 99.9% of any attacks in the US. As a matter of fact, the people who do most of the attacks are conservative Christians. Look it up, it's true. Prove me wrong. You can prove me wrong if you like, because I know I'm not wrong. I've seen the statistics, I've seen the charts, I've seen everything. It's not. It's conservative Christians that are doing more violence than anybody else. It's kind of sad, to be honest. You know what? I didn't find on that list any atheists. Actually, no Jews were perpetrators either in the last 10 years. Primarily Christian men and a couple Muslim men thrown in there. There was one girl, maybe two women. And I forgot my drink. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I was forgetting something. But you know, I forget my head if it wasn't attached. Okay. What else I gotta say? A nice conversation with a trans lady this morning on Facebook. That was pleasant. Talking about surgeries for trans kids. There are surgeries, gender affirming surgeries for trans kids. There are gender affirming surgeries for cis kids. And actually, cis boys have the most surgeries for that, according to her, which I wouldn't doubt. So, it's a very pleasant exchange for once. Because usually people are, but we're on the same side. So that helps. These laws are ridiculous. Now they got one in Alabama, I think it was, that they're going to institute prayer in school. And nobody's going to stop you from praying in school. It's administrative led prayers that are illegal, not your personal little prayer that you say whenever. You can even do it out loud. Do it at the top of your lungs. Nobody cares. As long as you're not forcing other people to do it. But they wouldn't allow a moment of silence. It has to be a prayer. What the actual? I don't think it's going to hold up because you can't have led prayer in school because there are people who don't do that, where they don't do your prayer. It's dumb. Let people alone. Holy cow. It is very, very windy and very, very rainy right now. It's like, well, some of that might be snow. What's the temp now? Temperature's 43, so it's not snow. It's rain. Although 47 the other day it was snowing. Of course, it wasn't sticking in anything, but it was snowing. It was definitely snowflakes coming out the sky at 47 degrees. Michigan's fun for weather. We're real fun here. All right, we'll get into it. I'll shut up now. Oh, first we have malicious compliance and it is entitled Department Head Tried Throwing Me Under the Bus. The department head asked me to prepare for performance numbers for a new product launch and compare them against our existing product. When I crunched the data, the issue was obvious. The existing product significantly outperformed the new one across every metric, obviously, because it had built a legacy and the new one didn't have time to breathe. I raised concerns that sharing a direct comparison with senior management would undermine the launch and suggested reframing the story around long-term potential and the need for marketing support without spotlighting the old product's stronger performance. He rejected that approach and insisted that the numbers be shared as is, making it seem like I lacked integrity. I documented my concerns and then did exactly what he asked. I posted the full comparison to senior management, clean data, clear visuals, no interpretation added. The difference in performance was impossible to miss. Senior management reacted quickly and aggressively. The launch strategy was questioned, the investment decision challenged, and the product team was put under a microscope. During the fallout, the head attempted to distance himself by acting as though he had not yet reviewed the numbers before they were shared. Unfortunately for him, the timeline, approvals, and written trail made it clear otherwise. Now he's extremely pissed at everyone who stays in his room. What an idiot. Oh, Paul Knapp says, as a product development engineer, I truly recognize the sympathies and sympathize with this tale. I could always tell how well a product was going according to if my manager declared it as his project. The slightest sign of an issue and it becomes my project. Shaved Ret Scrotum says, our product when they steal the credit too on things that had nothing to do with. And Paul replies, or the sales team celebrating a great new product launch, not inviting the tech team to the backslapping festivities. That's just mean. Like the sales team does nothing but yap their mouths. They're not the ones doing the day-to-day work. They're just yapping their mouths. Because they talk in a way that people tend to believe them even when they're lying. Significant limit says you have to wonder how department heads get where they are. No, they fall up. They fall up. They fall up them stairs. Usually who, not what you know about the name. Okay, Lewis. Who took credit for the good things and placed the blame for the bad. I always did his quarterly report and PowerPoint deck. In the notes folder, I always added any relevant points to bring up and data analysis compliant and prepared in my name. Senior execs would often ask for a copy, which he would send out. One time he CC'd me on the emails and I noticed that he changed my name to his to take all the credit. I was good friends with the CFO's assistant and knowing that he didn't like Lewis, I mentioned that he always took credit for my work and had no idea about many of the data trends where we were weak compared to our competitors. She told CFO that I was the one that knew the data, so he grilled Lou at the next meeting with questions Lou couldn't answer. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall as Lou tried to weasel around the questions. Lou was thoroughly embarrassed, but he never said anything to me. I left to another company soon after, and I blasted the guy's incompetence in my exit interview with HR. I found out Lou was eventually moved to a lower position in the regional office. If you're out there somewhere, Allison, her real name, thank you. Never forget conference room 4. And to Lou, and she does a bird emoji, shall we say. Sailing Spark says, I was up for department head last year. I actually jumped in and did the head's work, plus my own, for almost 5 months after the previous lead was fired for weaponizing the schedule. Yikes. I did good work, kept the department running, and was doing a great job of burning myself out by getting 2 jobs done in 40 hours. I didn't get the job. They gave it to our laziest coworker who had been busy crap talking me to the director the whole time I was keeping the department together with no formal training. It's fun to watch him screw up. It is always fun when they get their justice. Oh, here's a nice long reply from Let Out. I was once working in an IT department, and for whatever reason, we were about to be taken over. At least that was the plan. Because the manager at the time and basic employment law, they couldn't do it without basically proving that we were ineffective. If we worked just fine, why are you replacing us? Doesn't sound like this was in the US. So an agreement was called upon and a whole bunch of metrics were supplied, and we would have to exceed that what they thought were reasonable baselines in the metrics, except the people actually taking us over had their own IT firm, and they were basically did nothing else but take over the other company's IT departments. So naturally, they weren't particularly good. The whole plan was going to be to supplant us, put their people in, strip the place, insert their products and services, hire skeleton staff, flee into the next place. That was their model, basically. Yeah, there are, and we knew this because we'd done a lot of research on them. Basically, a bunch of charlatans taking the percentages and backhanders to strip the place of assets and move on. And when you do that, you also quell competition. It's crazy. It should be illegal, to be honest. Anyway, they challenged us on our metrics. We laughed at them because the metrics they'd given us wouldn't even form a lazy Sunday afternoon for our department. I mean, that should have been the end of it, and they should have taken the hint. And hey, these people who exceed your own expectations by enormous amounts. But they took it personally. So they sent us every crackpot they were associated with, telling us that we must use this software, or we must do things this way, or they insist we use this supplier. At every step, we provided a bunch of reasons why we weren't going to do that. Our software suppliers and processes were infinitely better than anything they showed us. We even made one sales guy, obviously some kind of retainer backhander, to literally storm out of our office and go straight to the boss because, hey, he was entirely independent, right? Who tried to give us a dressing down. Unfortunately for them, there was no reason that any rational human being would do what he did. So even the boss had to backtrack. Every concern we raised was valid. None of them he had an answer for. We'd poke holes in the product offerings without ever having seen it before. Everything from technical ability to legal compliance. After many months of this, they were forced to back down. We were the only place that they tried that they had to back down. They left us to our own devices. It was never mentioned again, while all around us, similar things were happening to everything else in the company, but they didn't go near us. On their way out, one of their many expense paid consultants wanted a private conversation with me in the corridor. They offered me a job, basically doing what I'd just done to them, destroying every argument they had with technical know how, but to other places. Literally crossing the front line and working for them to force places to their will by using my skills to do so. So a scab. They want you for a scab. Offering me stupendous money. I told them where to go and no uncertain times. They kept trying and I kept saying no. I walked back into the IT office and my boss said, "You'll never guess what they just asked me." To which they replied, "They want to hire you for $600 a day, right? 600 pounds a day." So yeah, I was right. Not in the US. My boss, who they weren't interested in hiring at all, as she was approaching retirement and a female basically, had already heard about their offer to me and told them there wouldn't be any chance in hell that I'd bite. She'd even bet on it, and she won. Good for her. Good for you. Told them that you have principles and would never go for that, but I didn't want to influence your decision, she told me later. She and I, we both knew each other very well. We had enjoyed the entire game with them, even though our jobs were on the line, and we both understood the other. Our colleague, my rival, on the other hand, disappeared from the office at this point. He returned very disappointed about 20 minutes later. Turned out he chased the guy down as he was leaving and begged him to give him the same offer, or in fact any offer to work for them. They were absolutely uninterested in him at any price, which wasn't a surprise to us, nor the fact that he was willing to turn coat on us so quickly. He left a few weeks later because we suspected him of stealing from the company and didn't get his next job either after we provided a reference. I carried on working there for about 2 more years and then moved on to bigger and better things, and my boss retired. Equivalent salary answered, "If they could poach all the talent in your department, they could come back and complete the takeover, then dump you. You made the right move." And of course, somebody's accusing it of being AI. So I wish it would die already. AI needs to die. That's my chant. This is from Evil Buildings. It's the Westminster Underground Station. Um, Actually looks pretty cool if you ask me. It's the inside for once. Looks pretty cool. Very industrial, shall we say. Even the escalator fits right in there. Okay, next we have AITAH. It's entitled AITAH for refusing to watch my daughter when we met my husband's friend. Edit, edit. I created this account to post here as my husband knows my user. Sorry if the title doesn't make sense. As I, 26 female, my husband, 27 male, have a toddler, 2 female. I don't know how everyone else has it, but our toddler creates so much chaos wherever she is. I swear we read this somewhere else. She's so curious. She explored everything all the time, loves to rearrange stuff, and she runs whenever she needs to go. um, it's only 16 days ago. There's no way. Maybe I read it elsewhere. I don't know. Um, she's so curious. She explores everything all the time, loves to rearrange stuff, and she runs whenever she needs to go, wherever she needs to go, and probably screams because that at that age their vocal cords are connected to their legs somehow. You cannot find a toddler that doesn't run around and not scream. It's kind of funny actually. Basically, she is like what I've seen most 2-year-olds be like. At home, it's fine. Of course, I try to keep her in check, but we have, of course, child-proofed our entire home. The problem here is that one of my husband's friends and girlfriend live just 5 minutes away from us. My husband and I get invited there almost every weekend, whether it's for food or just coffee. They're lovely people, but their house is filled with stuff. It's messy and overall the opposite of our home. No problem. They don't have children and they like to have stuff around. Problem is that every weekend I spend 3 hours running after her, comforting her when she trips, making sure she doesn't break stuff or put things in her mouth. And honestly, it's tiring. The fact that my husband just sits at the table and chats while I run around like crazy for so long irritates me, and it would. We got invited over 2 weekends ago. I told him I wouldn't tag along. He told me that I was overreacting and that's a normal part of parenting. Well, why isn't he doing it then? Why is it all on you? I told him that either way I wasn't coming. If he wanted our daughter to tag along, he could take her. So he did, and he came back after just an hour and was in a bad mood the rest of the day. I asked him how he went, and he asked me if I was happy with myself. This last weekend, we got invited over once more. I asked him if he wanted to look after her himself or do 50-50 with me. He didn't respond and went there himself. He's been off with me the whole week, making passive aggressive remarks about my insane need to be always right and yeah, other stuff. If you're right, I don't need to be right. But when I'm right, I'm right. I'm starting to feel like maybe I went overboard. No, you didn't, hon. No, 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 no. You have a husband problem, dear. I'm starting to feel like maybe I went overboard because I know he has it much harder time keeping her in check than I have, and even I have it hard. He has a harder time because he's not practicing. Practice makes perfect. Remember, actually, it doesn't. Nothing's perfect. Practice makes better, and he could be better if he got more practice. AITAH for refusing to go there if that means I have to watch her the whole time. No, not at all. Coming to us isn't an option. I don't know why. Because coming to us isn't an option. I don't know why. Because before his girlfriend moved in, he was here just as much as we were at his place. But after she moved in, he has declined every invite to come here. Small up edit, small update. We've talked pretty short about it this morning. It turns out he got pretty embarrassed at his friend's house. We'll probably talk more about it, but yeah, he pretty much realized that the difference in how much we both put in, I don't know if it will make an update post, but if people want and if something changes, or anything, I probably will. If not, thanks for the comments. I've tried to read both top comments and the ones that got downvoted, and I think both were helpful for the points I'll bring up. Armadillo of Doom says, I didn't need to be right. I was right. And you just ignored it. Our kid is a lot, and you are perfectly happy dropping the entire responsibility on my shoulders. So we aren't doing that anymore. Your friends can come here if you want. Glitter Doomsday says, right way to deflect. You learn a lot about a person and how they react to being wrong. And OP's husband has zero grace and humility. Simply say, you're right, babe. Little one is a tornado. Would not kill him. But alas. And here we are. Freedom said, I'd be salty too if I realized I'd been coasting while my partner did all the chasing. It's wild how fast it changes your perspective. Green Grace, I'm keeping her in check. And she says, that's because he hasn't tried. What did I say? He has no practice. He hasn't developed the skills and instincts you have because he hasn't tried. He has chosen to let you be the default parent, whether that's inside your home or just outside of it. I have a guess. That was his choice. Don't let him weaponize his incompetence. This is very that. Stand your ground. Don't let him turn this around on you. Yes, you should be supportive and encourage him to spend more time with your kid, just the two of him. Just the two of him? Literally says just the two of him. Is um husband have more than one personality? I don't know. Maybe more than one person's living in his head. It happens sometimes. Recognize his effort if he makes them and try to be positive. You know how hard it is for you to learn. The same amount of compassion and cheerleading is called for, or some amount. No, it's not. She didn't get compassion or cheerleading. Why should he? Unless he continues to act like a child, he will get defensive and at this act like this is at all about your need to be right. It is absolutely not. It's about your need to be fairly treated as a partner and TA, of course. Their top rated comment is from Different Idea, and it says NTA, the toddler made him look like a jackass in front of the friend group and that on a solo trip. OP says, yeah, his friend had actually made a few comments about how bad my husband was doing alone with her. So he left because he felt embarrassed about it. Oh, wow. Poor guy. Can't even control a toddler. How sad is that? Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and it is entitled, Neighbor Keeps Trimming My Trees Without Permission, and I Ruined Them. I have 2 beautiful oak trees on my property near the property line. They're about 30 years old and provide great shade, or they did until my neighbor took it up to trim them. I come home for a vacation to find both trees have been drastically cut back. Huge branches removed, weird asymmetrical shape, just butchered. My neighbor, Phil, 50s male, was in his yard and I immediately asked what happened. He said, oh, I trimmed those for you. They were hanging over my yard. I was in shock. He cut my trees without asking me. If they're on his side of the line, that part of the tree is his. He said branches were dropping leaves in his pool, so he took care of it. I called an arborist who came out and said the cuts were done incorrectly and may have permanently damaged the trees. Tree might not survive because too much was removed. The arborist bill for assessment and treatment is $800. I showed Phil the bill and he asked him to pay it since he damaged my trees. He refused, saying he was doing me a favor by trimming them for free. A favor? I didn't want them trimmed. My lawyer said I can sue for the cost of damaged trees, which could be thousands since they're mature trees, but Phil is saying if I sue him the years of leaves that fell in his pool. Can he actually do that? I'm not sure you can actually do that, to be honest. His threat is making me hesitant to pursue legal action, but these trees are on my property that he destroyed, unless they hung over on his. The top rated comment is just r/tree law. Board Chi says tree law is very serious. Go ask for guidance and get a lawyer. Make sure it's a human lawyer, freeze. Ted W says, make sure it's a human lawyer, though. That friggin' oak lawyer bill's on the Bills by the hour. It takes forever to respond. Only child says, yeah, ants are not known to be hasty. Queen of the hack and whack says, where I live, if the neighbor's tree limbs hang over my property, I have the right to trim them at the line. Yep. I had trees cut down and talked to my neighbor about a few dead ones, pines on his land. I paid to have them taken down and the oak tree trimmed back his trees, but I have great neighbors, most of them. PG answered, say my neighbor's trees hung so low, one it nailed me in the face while I was mowing and ran my glasses back onto my face so hard I got cut in a black eye. I took a picture of the branch hanging over my property and went to the town, showed them the picture and my face, and asked if I could legally cut the branch. They said absolutely. I could says I absolutely could if it was over the property line. So I did. It did cause asymmetry in her tree, but I could mow my freaking lawn without injury afterward. And woo-hee, was she pissed. I showed her my eye and told her that the town said that she didn't keep it managed. It was hanging over my property. It was fair game. She didn't like it. She could take it up with the town. Then she decided to get a little payback and start spraying my Roundup across the fence to my vegetable garden and onto a mature bush. My ring grandma caught her doing it and I called the cops. She was issued a ticket of some kind for malicious mischief. My vegetable garden was killed off almost in its entirety and made to pay a fine, and I had to had to reimburse me $100 for the vegetable garden. The bush survived without any problem. I bought 3 more and put them up between our properties. So see, you can check with your local jurisdiction, but you can generally, as far as I know, in the U.S. at least, you can trim your neighbor's trees if they're over your property line, over onto your property line. Benign existence. Entitled, my toddler's socks were soaked after our snow walk. He kept saying he was tired. When we got home, I took his boots off and realized his socks were wet. I felt a little bad. He didn't complain after that. We made hot chocolate. Oh, that's sweet. Son of Grebo says, I realize that my husband of many years also says he's tired, when in fact he is cold. I've helped him feel better by pointing out and naming the cold emotion, also by gently offering him solutions, thermal underwear, and by reminding him before cold and should probably consider some solutions. It's taken about 3 years, but he's pretty good now. I bet you won't take 3 years for the toddler. Tired Neuro says, mine doesn't always identify hunger. He just gets mad. Guilty as charged. I do get hangry. Usually I know I'm tired, though. I've figured out that I'm tired when I get mad like that, especially if I try to feed him, sometimes leading to spectacular fights on how I reduce him to biological functions. The classic hangry, I guess. It's weird. I've gotten better at pointing out early with velvet gloves. Son of Grebo answered, my cold, tired husband does this too. I'm not hungry. Would you stop nagging me? May I suggest a small bowl of favorite snacks placed within his hand's reach? No comment, no pointing at them. He'll eat them before he even realizes what he's doing. Get the closure or the recognition you deserve, but it does help. Function vention? Oh, function ventional. No idea what that's supposed to mean. For both of you, make sure they are getting their annual blood work done because it sounds like my father-in-law who eventually, as in several years later, was diagnosed with diabetes. Hypoglycemia can make people irritable and unreasonable. They may not feel hungry in the normal way, but their body and brain are in panic mode because they think they're starving. You could even buy a cheap glucose monitor and test them when they are being super cranky. No, I know I'm hungry when I'm hangry. I know I'm hungry when I'm hangry. It's not recognizing the hangry is their issue. Found Satan and all this is a color, like a crayon emoji. I'll show it to you. It's pretty rude, in my opinion. Who TF left this on my car in lot 30? I just want to talk. Many 3-year-olds have trouble staying within the lines. Maybe if you practice coloring this turtle, it will help with your parking. Not sure how that's going to help with the parking, as those are 2 different skill sets. Um, Sometimes the reason you're parked that way is because somebody else is. Talk to them, don't talk to me. I had some guy get mad because I parked in his parking spot and he was not parked in this parking spot. And he's like, how am I supposed to get in my car? I'm like, not my problem. You're not parked in the spot. I am. Sucks to be you. Caution Cup says, I need to print these. Big Throwaway Fish says, Someone once left a note on my car that said, what do you do with the money your mother gave you for driving lessons? 20 plus years later, I still remember it vividly. Squirtle. Link says, I have cards that say the way you pull in makes me wish your dad pulled out. Ooh, that's cruel. Well, I've left them plenty of cars around my house. Man, why do people do this? It's not that big a deal. I mean, I do attempt to park in the lines, but sometimes things happen that you cannot control. And yeah, I parked over the line sometimes, occasionally. It happens. It doesn't park well. Just no Mill, entitled Mill Mad That I Have to Feed My Baby. Oh, yeah, one of those. My mother in law came to visit for the first time. She's staying in a hotel, so she already hates me for it. She wanted to sleep with us, but we don't have room now. And she's saying that by the time she comes, I always take him to nurse, and she's irritated by that, so she should get there sooner or wait. She sighed when I left the room. I looked at her phone and it says I'm timing you. You can't time a baby eating, you freaking moron. I say I have to feed him. She makes comments like, again? Or can't you just wait a little? I'm holding him. I mean, if he's happy, you shouldn't be like grabbing him or anything, unless, as if hunger runs on her schedule. As if my baby should pause his needs so she can hold him longer. Is he fussing? If he's not fussing, let her hold him. What you don't understand or don't care is that nursing isn't optional. It isn't me being dramatic. It isn't me trying to take the baby away from her. It's nutrition. It's survival. It's my job to make sure he's not dehydrated and is well fed. Yeah, but are you doing it when he doesn't need to? She cried that I'm doing it on purpose. I'm purposely feeding him when she comes over, and he doesn't need to eat that much. Babies need to eat a lot. And I should not nurse him on demand. You should nurse him on demand. I should nurse it on schedule because it's good for my mental health. No, it's not. You can adjust. I know she doesn't care about my mental health. She just wants me to not take the baby to feed him. I'm assuming that the baby's fussing, that it needs to be fed. Okay, it's a boy baby. I'm assuming the baby is fussing and needs to be fed when she takes him. If the mother-in-law had breastfed herself, she might know that. So at least attempt. She complained that I don't feed the baby in front of her and that even her friend's daughters nurse in front of her. Well, I mean, that too. Why are you going away to feed him? That just perpetuates hiding breastfeeding. You should definitely do that. When I say I need to feed him, a healthy response would be, of course, take your time or be helpful or do you need water? Instead, I feel judged for doing the most natural thing in the world because you're taking him away and hiding it. If it's the most natural thing in the world, you wouldn't be hiding it. So the both of ya, everybody sucks here. Somebody said she needs a timeout. I think they both need timeouts. And seriously, like, why are you hiding it? I don't understand that mentality at all. I mean, I tried to accommodate some people when I first started breastfeeding my oldest. He refused to eat with anything over his face. So that was out. Although all you have to do is lift your shirt up, latch him on. Nobody even knows you're doing it. Nobody even knows. I Went to the bathroom one time, never again, never ever again. I have 3 kids, and I breastfed them all over a year. The last one I breast I over 3 year it was yeah, over 3.5, 2.5 years, and 3 over 3 years for the 3rd one. He was very much mommy's baby. He was also very cute. Um, so and, the 2-year-old only quit because I had the other kid. She didn't like it. She likes me now, it's fine. She got over it. She got over a lot. But so I quit going places, I quit hiding it, I had my husband has a bachelor friend that we used to see frequently, like once every few months. Oh, through the whole 3 kids. And he would always he said once, we were at a restaurant and I was like had my hand on my shirt to reclip my bra because I had you can get clip on cups for nursing. So you unclip it, put the baby on, take the baby off, clip it back up. He says, I never even know that you're doing that until you're like fixing yourself afterwards. So you can do it and nobody knows. And you don't have to put a big old blanket over your baby's head. You don't sleep with you don't eat with blanket over your head. It's uncomfortable to eat with a blanket over your head. Why should your baby have to do that? Nobody knows. And if they know, they shouldn't care because it is the most natural thing in the world. So why we have it to hide? It's stupid. Sorry, that's my breastfeeding rant. Next, we have retail hell. I don't deserve breaks because I'm young and you're unhappy. Well, everybody deserves breaks. I'm sorry. I'm buying food on my break, obviously not doing work, when an old geezer starts going, hey, you're not taking care of these machines. Because the automatic cleaning process screen was on. I tell him I'm on a break, and another old wang chimes in on break, taking a break from talking, sitting around. I wouldn't think this is due to my age if it wasn't the constant ageism I constantly face from geezers, even my own coworkers. It's given me such an unfair prejudice toward old people. I wish I didn't develop. Everyone deserves a break. Everyone. If you have a coworker that is obviously eating, they may be on break and you should leave them alone because your questions can wait. Unless somebody's bleeding or something's on fire or there's a broken bone involved. Anything else can wait. Deleted said, I was shopping at a Walmart when some guy wanted to buy propane, but the machine was out of stock. He yells to the garden center at the employee, like, is there any propane? It says out of stock. Oh, I think I'm blind now. My eyes just rolled out my head. The employee is like, well, it's probably out of stock then. But it looks like there's some in there. They're empty ones, sir. Like, don't they ever process the sign might as well not winging even have it. OML. The ghost walks through, says, I'm truly shocked he even read the sign like at all. They think if they don't read the sign that it doesn't apply to him. Happens all the time. Alexis Rose has a meme from Arnold. I don't remember Arnold's little sister's name. I think it's Arnold. Might not be Arnold. I think her name's supposed to be DJ, maybe? It says that sign can't stop me because I can't read. Oh, that's funny. This is from Petty Revenge and is entitled Crappy Owner Keeps Stealing My Laundry Cycles and Dumping My Clothes. They did it again today, emptied my barely wet clothes out of the washer and into the dryer and put their load of clothes in to run on the detergent cycle I paid for with all 3 loads of my laundry. Imagine my surprise when I showed back up the laundry room 5 minutes early to find my clothes soapy in the dryer and someone else's laundry halfway through the wash cycle. Mine were dragged through the unclean lint traps in the dryer, too. I had 25 minutes to act, so I had to improvise. They were on wash cycle still, but would switch to rinse in a few. They were old machines, some proper analog hardware interface to them, and the Bluetooth was installed after the fact, connecting the machine power supply to control the door. I paid for the cycle, so I used the app to pause my own laundry, grabbed some lint from the lint trap they dragged my clothes through, and tossed a little into each stolen load. Then closed the door to restart the rinse cycle, and then unplugged all three washers once they locked in, disabling the Bluetooth based mid load lock unlocking. I'm sure somebody will figure out the machine's unplugged, but I had to crawl back there pretty far, and they're doing this to everyone else too. I'm sure it'll take a while for someone to decide to tell them. So, hey, a-hole, your clothes are staying in the machine until you learn to pay from your own dang laundry. Have fun getting them back. I'll be paying for a new cycle for mine on a different floor. Edit update. It's been a few hours. My clothes are finally done. Stopped by the second floor laundry room and was terribly dismayed to see there was seems to be an issue with three washers. Wouldn't let someone's clothes out, unfortunately. Edit 2. Tired of answering y'all's questions about the time discrepancy, so I'm going to answer this one more. Once you force the washer door while it's latched on rinse cycle, the machine stops the load, but the app doesn't update without the direct Bluetooth connection. The machines are older than the app, so the sync is all janky. It only locks during the spin cycle, and another tenant showed me how to get it to reset a load by doing that. It's useful if your clothes need a second spin cycle before rinsing. Unfortunately, someone decided to use it to be a dick. Edit 3. The people who have spoken one load of linens this week, same time, same place, you've suggested bleach. I'm willing to risk $2.50 to see if they'll strike again. After that, no more unsupervised laundry, point taken. Necessary Baker says 1. Set up a mock load so they don't steal it, knowing they will steal it. Step 2. That mock load is for a load for bleached whites. Step 3. They won't steal from you again. Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be really fun. Next is Am I the Jerk? And it is entitled AITJ for screaming at my aunt and kicking her out because she let her toddler use my $2,000 laptop as a toy. Screaming is rarely necessary, but sometimes feels good. I, 24 female, I'm a freelance graphic designer. My laptop is basically my entire life. I saved up for 2 years to buy this specific machine because I need it for heavy rendering and detail work. It cost me around $2,000 and it's the most expensive thing I own. So you don't have a car. Or your car's hoopty. Last week, my aunt came over to visit my parents' house where I currently live and save some money. She bought her 5-year-old son, Sean. Sean is a loud kid and gets bored easily, but I usually try and stay out of their way in my room. I went to the bathroom for maybe 5 minutes. I made the mistake of leaving my bedroom door slightly cracked open. When I walked back into my room, I froze. My aunt was sitting on my bed scrolling on her phone, and Sean was sitting on the floor with my open laptop. He was smashing the keys with sticky hands. He'd just eaten a chocolate bar. I literally watched him drag a greasy finger right across the screen. I didn't even think. I rushed over, snatched the laptop, and shouted, "What are you doing?" My aunt jumped up and looked at me like I was the crazy one. She said, "Relax, he was just bored. He wanted to watch cartoons. It's just a computer." It is not just a computer. It's never just a computer. Ever. And it's not yours, so you don't have permission to let your 5-year-old play with it because it's not yours. If it's not your property, you cannot give for other people permission to use it because it's not yours. I checked the screen and there was chocolate smudges all over the trackpad and keys. I turned to her and screamed, "This is not a toy. This is my job. If you broke this, you wouldn't be able to pay for it." Oh, she'd be able to pay for it. I don't know what she'd have to do, but she'd be paying for it. She'd be paying for it in court if it took that. She got offended immediately and started yelling back that I was being a drama queen and scaring her child. I hate it when people use this "you're scaring the kids" thing. Like, whose fault's that? She said family should share. No. And that I value objects more than my nephew. No. My mom heard the yelling and came running in. My aunt demanded an apology. I told her to get out of my room and leave the house. Why were you even in that room, Aunt? Stay out of people's rooms. Jeez. Now my parents are saying I was technically right to be mad, but I shouldn't have screamed or kicked her out because she's family. Oh, too bad. Wah, wah, wah. My aunt is blasting me on Facebook that I'm unstable and selfish. I feel bad for yelling, but she didn't even ask permission to come in, let alone touch my work equipment. What if it wasn't hers? What if she wasn't freelance and that was a actual work computer? And what if he broke it? She'd be responsible for that at work. Drazel says, NTJ, calmly tell your parents that you want to put a lock on your door because if anything happens to your work computer, they'll have to replace it for you, or you'll file a small claim against their insurance policy, or file a claim against their insurance policy. LP says, honestly, I'm already looking at locks on Amazon. My parents think I'm overreacting, but they don't get that if this breaks, I literally cannot work. It's just a computer to me. It's my paycheck. Thanks for the advice. I might actually mention the insurance thing to them so that they realize how serious this is. Okay, resource says, I just heard a car alarm, like a car locking. I shouldn't be hearing that. It's really weird. I hope they don't come in my house. Well, my doors are locked. My doors are locked. It's fine. Okay, resource says, besides the locks, I believe I would post on social media under your aunt's rant that a good parent would teach boundaries to their children instead of letting them invade someone's personal space and play with expensive work equipment. I mean, come on, why should she get away with dissing you when she was clearly in the wrong and most likely knows it? Certain POV answers, a good parent would have boundaries themselves and never would have entered the room with their child. 100%. 150,000%. And patient Colin says, why was she in your room or sitting on your bed at all? Dumpster Fire Phoenix, spelled with the PH and the F in the wrong places, I might add, says this, there was a whole huge parade of disrespect and trespass here. Families should respect and care for each other. That does not mean invading space, taking tools, causing harm and mess, all of which she did. How dare she feel entitled to your room, your things, and your work livelihood? Ask your parents how she would feel if you just took her car, just for a bit, and left fast food wrappers in there. I see variation. She said, OP should do just that. Next, we have entitled people. Entitled, I need you to deliver groceries to me. I work from home for a nonprofit connecting people in need with resources in their communities. That sounds like a cool job. I had a caller who wanted a food pantry that would deliver groceries. She stated she is legally blind and her 2 children went to bed hungry last night. Unfortunately, her county does not have a resource for delivery unless the person's over 60. She's 30 and ditto for meal delivery. But if she's blind and can't drive, shouldn't that override the age? I think that should override the age because she's in way worse shape than most 60-year-olds. Most of us can drive, for instance. Since her kids are in school, I know they qualify for free breakfast and lunch. I suggest you call her daughter's school counselors. In most and probably all counties in my state, there are weekender bags they send home with the kids. And I'm pretty sure any school would make this possible for the kids to bring home something. She was crying and asked, can you bring me some food? I wouldn't ask, but I'm desperate. I felt terrible, but gently explained that I was not able to do that. I reached out to our team's chat to see if anyone had any suggestions. My manager, she is a rock star, suggested the Office for Older Adults, stating that they might make an exception to the age eligibility under extreme circumstances. She then asked the question I should have asked, how has she been getting food and necessities in the past? I called her back and she claimed she already talked to OFOA. Doubt this because it's not a well-known research for a 30-year-old. Yeah, but some of us are very, very resourceful. I asked, she called the school. She said she did, and they won't help. This I firmly bid out. So why don't you call the school and ask them? I asked the question posed by my manager. She said her mom gives her groceries when she can get a ride there, approximately 15 miles. As soon as she said that, she started backpedaling and she insisted on her first call that she has no family and no friends who can help. Okay, she's just scamming her now. This friend conveniently moved to another state and mom does not drive. She went on to wail that she cannot pay her rent next month because her husband's truck needs a repair. Huh? I offered to give her food pantry that her husband, who drives, can visit. No, he works from 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. 14 hours a day. He works 14 hours a day. Are you sure, ma'am? What's he doing? Because 14 hours a day is a lot of work. And you would have money for groceries if you worked 14 hours a day, even at minimum wage. Very suspect. I have pantries that are open after 6 and on weekends. No, he works 7 days a week, but doesn't make much money. Before I politely ended the call, I was livid. She asked me again to personally for help. You have to have compassion to do my job, and you also have to have a decent BS detector. Also for context, I'm blind and I'm an amputee. I live alone and manage to with help from friends and family. I use screen reading software to navigate the APs in my job. It irritates me in a particular way when callers pull up the helpless card. Yeah, I can understand that because you're doing what you need to do, and these people are just lazy. Dame Knifer says, "You are a superhero. Rock on with your badass self." And I hope my language didn't offend you. I think you know why the school wouldn't help her now. But I do feel bad for her kids. They don't need to see manipulation modeled for them in so many ways. And 14 people gave them one award. Um, and then 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. 13, you're just amazing. Oh, thank you. And OP says they're not offended and they get way worse than that on their job when they have to let people know. Murdered by Words and is entitled "The Conspiracy versus Reality is Getting Out of Hand." And it's some I don't even know. I don't even know this is a thing. Can somebody explain it to me? Bexy LeBoy says, "You will know them by their fruit," Matthew 7:16. And it's a picture of, who is that? Is that Lady Gaga? And I'm not even sure who that is. Is that Bad Bunny? I don't know. Um, Raptor Cuddles says, "Y'all will dissect photos of a woman showing affection, but still won't accept Elon did a Nazi salute with a dead with a skull emoji." Oh, it's true. It's true. Noble Celtic says social media was a mistake. For Reception says, "Letting people who never achieved anything reach so many people was a mistake." That's for sure. Deleted said, "This is the truth about it. Once education achievement was removed as a prerequisite, it all went to absolute crap." Burl Ives Massive Hog says, "I used to believe in John Gabriel's greater internet Wangwad theory, but then I saw the links people go to sell themselves as a brand, and now I think we'll be better off. Anonymity was the status quo." Someone says, "What's even happening here?" Yeah, it was Lady Gaga and Bad Bunny. Dang, I'm good. I don't even know what Bad Bunny looks like. Barely know what Lady Gaga looks like. I don't even know what my own kids look like sometimes. I see somebody out of context, really hard for me to recognize them. Sometimes I can't recognize people I know. I don't know why. I don't know why. I saw my own boss I had worked with for 4 years in Walmart, and that's like took me a minute to realize who it was. Somebody says, "What's even happening here?" And Lil C says, "I'm confused as well." And Nikki the Robot says, "It seems to me a performer on stage went to hug another performer. As that person on the right put their arms around the person on the left, the picture was taken, and that looked weird, which will always happen if you take a picture of anything doing anyone and your camera is set to burst, or it was a weird freeze frame." Yeah, I mean, you can take pictures of things at the exact time that it can look inappropriate, it can look weird, it can look fake. I mean, it's just a split second of time. The wide displayed hand on the right is holding around the head of a left. In this weird picture, could be interpreted as signal antlers or horns on the left. If you happen to be deluded into thinking that everything you don't approve of is satanic. That's the best I can come up with. And then Dark Wolf answered, I saw that scene. It was during the Super Bowl halftime show. Basically, Lady Gaga was dancing with Bad Bunny using dance moves. You know, the kind of dance that tends to be flirty and intimate. Okay. And Likewood Kid, Likewood Cool says, I love the way she smiled at him. It seemed very genuine, like they're friends. And Kids CD Skip says, yeah, they've got a friendship and mutual admiration for each other's talent. And why the hell not? They're both really good at what they do. Mas- Master Don Joe says Texas Longhorn students are Satanists. Got it. That's really funny. Oh, expectation versus reality. And I just realized what I did not do. I am a bad person. By the way, I got through one whole segment of um, Sister Wives just in the last 3 days. Expectation versus reality. This sustainable paper bottle is, in fact, a plastic bottle. Okay. It says it's a sustainable paper bottle. It does not look paper. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. That is trickstery. What the heck? Why would you do that? It's a paper bottle surrounded by cardboard to make it look like a cardboard bottle. That is just, oh, unconscionable. That's what that is. Rupfer says a perfect example of greenwashing. Parking Middle says marketing department. It's 90% paper if you ignore the plastic part. Lucky Legion says it's prolific. I almost failed my dissertation on greenwashing and packaging design because I wrote 3 times the word limit because of the references. Wow. Tona Ramirez says how it actually works is that I don't know, I'm reading this like that. They make a very thin plastic bottle, make it stable with a cardboard sleeve. Where I live, you get plenty of those, also yogurt containers and so on. It's actually not that bad. Save some plastic waste. Don't hurry. Ugh. Then market it as such and don't tell people a lie. Also, they use mostly recycled plastic since the color is printed only on the paper. Why would you believe the container itself is made for paper for liquids that would never work? LOL. Ugh. She wasn't even downvoted. She got 600 votes. Mm. I'm going to take off for a minute. I'll be right back. Oh, jeez. All right, sorry about that. That was weird. All right. Search Matterding. I'm just not going to address it. Search Matterding says it's the deception that's the problem, not the paper bottle. Even discounters don't like the way they don't feel like they don't need to lie about it when using it for yogurt and the like. Yogurt, it's yogurt, I think. The big issue is a massive heading stating it's a paper bottle. We've reduced packaging by X%, even we're using 85% paper or whatever, would be infinitely better and more authentic. Exactly. If you have not already, hopefully I will get through the next half. Please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually noon Eastern, Tuesday through Thursday. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell the man in the moon, tell your enemies, tell the alien that lives next door. He's a lizard person, isn't he? If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wilds, please send us an email entitled submission. If you would like an email link to the day's current live, send an email entitled subscribe. Email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com. The email address is also in the description for the video description. Next, we have our real estate section. Okay. The title's wrong, so I'm gonna say it like it's the real title instead of what they wrote. Unreal Korean house on top of a mountain in Virginia with some really terrible interior photos. They accidentally put that it was Japanese, but it's a Korean house, apparently. Okay, it is pending. It is $1.2 million, 1 bedroom, 2 baths, and 34, almost 3,500 square feet. How justify to me a $1.2 million house, $1.3 million house with 1 bedroom, please. This is in Hot Springs, Virginia. It looks nice. That's pretty cool looking. Those look Japanese. Is that the pool or is that a koi pond? I'm confused. I don't know. It doesn't say. I really wish they captioned the pictures. I'm guessing that's a pool. No, now it's a kidney-shaped pool. He goes, oh yeah, it's a pool. The stairs going down are kind of cool. I kind of like that. Look at that giant boulder ready to fall into the pool at any moment. As soon as there's a leak. This scenery looks incredible. I think the $1.5 million is just this pool. I took my Flonase just now, so now that's breaking everything up. Forgot earlier. Should have done it. Meant to do it. Is that a little octopusy thing? I hope they have a close-up of that, because I don't know what that is. But it looked cute. The art is lovely. The scenery is amazing. I just made up a new word, fan-amazing. Okay, can we get to the inside of the house? I love the person taking the photo. It's lovely. That's why you visit the house more than once. Still outside. Oh, there we go. Why is this on the landing like that? It's very bizarre to me. Why is that door so small? Could have been at least a few more inches taller. What's under there? Does Harry Potter live under there? Okay, that's a terrible picture. Why would you put this in? It's not even in focus. What are you hiding? The bat? Is that a bat up in the ceiling? Trying to hide that bat up in the ceiling? That's better. At least I can see it now. Floor looks like it needs work. I don't know. Not Serum 100. 1.2, $1.3 million to me. The blue lighting in the little, I think that's a little fridge. It's kind of weird. Is this the fridge or is this a pantry? I'm confused. I don't mind the microwave not being over the stove, especially since it's a glass stove. Or not glass, a gas stove. Oh my gosh, I can't even talk anymore. Dining room looks kind of cramped. Probably have to use it for something else. I like the bathroom's fine. Shower's fine. Why does it look like it's supposed to be a tub, but it's definitely a shower? I'm confused why this faucet is here. Because that is definitely a shower and not a bathtub. That's so weird. They obviously converted the bathtub into a shower, but why'd you leave this? I'm so confused. There's 2 closets in the bathroom? Or 2 doors anyway. Oh, that's lovely. I like that. Bedroom's lovely. Why does it look like there's a hallway between the bedroom and the outside though? That's weird. I don't think I'd like that. I don't want people, well, it is 1 bedroom, so I guess people wouldn't be running around the house. You have your little closet for the vain people. Okay. Laundry room fits the theme of the house. Not sure why that panel's there. It's weird. Another blurry picture. Not sure why we're including the blurry pictures you took. Okay, that looked bigger than a squirrel, but smaller than a deer. I'm afraid it was a coyote. I'm not sure. Another blurry picture. That looks lovely, nice and open. Lots of room. I'm concerned that they have 2 electric heaters hanging out there. That's rather concerning. So the heating's not good? Is that's the message I'm getting. It's beautiful otherwise. Ooh, that dragon's amazing. And as is the tiger. We would need 2 dragons. My husband and I are both dragons. This is one of my kids. Another black bathroom. I admit the view is amazeballs. Thank you. More of the views than of the house. More photos of the views. More blurry photos than I've ever seen. Um, 1 bedroom, 2 baths. 3,400 square feet, but they're all in that one room that's not very warm. 54 acres. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for the 54 acres. It's a temple close to Homestead. It was built with craftsman and materials from Korea. It's a unicorn. And it is a private in-ground pool. It's got a wet bar. Primary bedroom is downstairs. Flooring is concrete, other and stone. It does not have a basement. It is 3,475 square feet, and you can live in all of it, and it's all above ground. There is no heating. No heat. That's why they had the portable stoves, because there's no heat and there's no cooling. If it's high enough, you may not need cooling most of the time. Yeah, but I don't like that. I want I want me heat. I like me heat. Ask anybody. You can have a lot. You can have horses on it. This is not the house you're gonna live in though. It's got a sewer. It's got a well. Why does it not have heat? I'm so confused. Sale is pending. Somebody's buying a house with no heat. Property taxes. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? $6,711 a year. That's it. They need to raise their property taxes. Where is this in Virginia? That's for 54 acres and a house, albeit an unheated 1 bedroom house. Yeah, Virginia. Virginia, raise your property taxes. Jesus Christ. That's insanity. Rashiza Sep says, I want this house. Like, with no heat? You want this house with no heat? Over the troll answers, imagine that view in fall when there's heavy snow. Yeah, and you'll be really, really cold. Boyle's War says the lack of heat and AC would have to be fixed. Bummer it wasn't built with underfloor heating. Oh, that would be nice. Impossible Draft says these houses are actually bearable in summer without AC. That's kind of their thing. But horribly cold in winter, even with heating or insulation. Boyle's War says the living space is downstairs and not in the beautiful but basically sunroom upstairs where the heaters were. Saltbringer says it would be incredible if that pool was fed by a hot spring. That would be nice. Lucky Ozma says, and cherry blossom planted around the yard. Well, you can't plant cherry blossoms. You can plant cherry trees that blossom, but you can't plant cherry blossoms, ma'am. That's not going to work. Hoy says it's in the middle of nowhere, and somebody points out that's only 45 minutes away from a big city, from a city that has 6,000 people. See, to me, that doesn't sound that bad. As somebody who grew up in a city with 5,000 people and 5 miles out of the city. Yeah, sometimes people like to do that. Interesting AF, a grandmother in Missouri is pushing for a new law that would require drunk drivers to pay child support if they killed a parent. And it is up for Maine, South Dakota, Kentucky, Tennessee, Texas, and Utah. It's called Bentley's Law. Excalibur says something tells me drunk drivers are going to be deadbeat child supporters. I mean, technically, you do get money if a spouse dies or if a parent dies. You do get Social Security for until you're 18. But that's only until you're 18. You still have college to pay for. You ain't paying for that. Polyanthropist says the law was sparked by a horrific crash in April 2021 in Burns Hill, Missouri. Cecilia Williams' son, daughter-in-law, and their 4-month-old son were killed by a drunk driver. Cecilia was left to raise her 2 surviving grandsons, Bentley and Mason. Frustrated that the driver would likely serve prison time but have no learned time for financial responsibility for the orphans left behind, she began campaigning for a law that would treat these offenders more like parents who owed child support. As of early 2026, the law is still moving through the legislative process with an effective date targeted for August of this year. Honestly, this does not seem like a bad law at all. And yeah, she gets Social Security, but that's only until you're 18, and then you're on your own. I think that should include that they have to pay for college. Next is from Am I the A-hole? AITA. My wife and I came home at 3 a.m. and my mother-in-law acted like we were 16 sneaking into the house. That's some parents for you. I would never be like that, but some parents are like that. It's weird. It's weird. Your kids are grown. They're adults. They're adults. They don't need a curfew, honey. I 41 male. Spouse 42 female. And I had plans to go hiking and have dinner with friends. We made our kids 16 and 12, so they're old enough. Why is mother-in-law even invited? Make sandwiches for lunch and called my spouse's mom and asked her to bring the kids dinner because we would be gone into the evening. We also told the kids we'd be out late. We've left our kids at home alone multiple times and we fully trust them. We just want to make sure they had something decent instead of warming something up, hence asking mother-in-law to bring food. Why didn't you just give them pizza money? Honestly, just order them a pizza and have it delivered. Nowadays, you can have anything delivered. Not once did we ask her to stay, nor did we expect her to. We have told her many times you can stay and watch TV due to her not having internet if she wants, but she never has to stay. Yeah, the oldest kid's 16. He can take care of the other kid. My spouse and I had an amazing day with friends. After dinner, they wanted to go back to their place to hang out more. And next thing we knew, it was super late. And we get a call from mother-in-law asking where we are. We were just about to head home anyway and said we would be home soon. Flash forward to arriving and my Mill is sitting in the living room of my house fuming. No TV on or anything. I'd love to say she was sitting in the dark, but she wasn't that dramatic. She starts getting angry and commenting on what time it was and how her 16-year-old shouldn't be up that late. Side note, we don't let him stay up that late all the time, but trying to manage a 16-year-old is hard enough as it is. 12-year-old had already called it a night, was asleep. What time did they say they got home? 3 a.m. Yeah, the 16-year-old probably should in bed, but it ain't gonna hurt him to be up late on a weekend. Now I'm a little upset because I don't like being accosted in my own home and being treated like a child sneaking in. If she'd have left like she was supposed to, she'd have never known what time we got home. Maybe she shouldn't come over anymore. I proceeded to tell her that she did not have to stay. She was only supposed to grab dinner. She then tells me how disrespectful of it is for me for not telling her where we were and why we were coming home so late. It's not your, oh my gosh. People, your children that do not live with you do not owe you explanations for anything ever. And half the time, if they live with you, if they are over 18, they do not owe you explanations for where they are and what they're doing. They are an adult. You want your college age kids to have some freedom so that they can make mistakes with minor consequences so that they're not making huge mistakes when they're older. Now, if she had said this in a caring tone or even worried, it would not be a problem. It came off a very angry tone. Even when leaving, she slammed the front door. Holy cow, at 3 o'clock in the morning, did you wake the 12-year-old? Now today she is saying it wasn't about when we came home, or rather she was worried and we did not tell her when we were coming home or where we were. It's none of your business. You don't live there. It's none of your business. She said you were going hiking and to dinner, and that statement is true. Just went with the flow and added on more to the evening. So are we the a-holes for not calling her and telling her we would be late, even though we had no idea she would be staying past getting them dinner? No, she shouldn't have even been there. Crystal House says NTA. I do find having mother-in-law bring up food over odd. If they're old enough to be left alone, they're old enough to feed themselves, or order food for them next time. I also feel weird dropping off food and then just leaving them. Although I fully support them being left alone, I just don't involve mother-in-law next time. She overstepped, but you kind of asked for it involving her. Nah, she overstepped. I wouldn't mind giving my grandkids food if my kids were out for the night. At 16, well, they'd be 16 and 14, so 16 and 12, but 16, I'd go take them over food, or they could come over to our house and hang out. That would be fun. They probably like that. Hopefully, they'll like that when they're that age. They probably won't. Opie says, not wrong, won't make that mistake again. I just thought she would like to see them. Aw. See, he had the best intentions. Usually order pizza, but my son works at a pizza place now. They can cook if they want. Was trying to save them trouble. Mother-in-law lives less than 10 minutes away. Figured she would bring them food, hang out for a little while, and then get back to her dogs. Pine Box Waiting says, why didn't you text your kid be home after dinner became going out after dinner? K-Cat says, I never told my roommates when I would be home. GFC. Again, for the people who can't read or respond, I responded to a comment about basic good roommate behavior. Oh, yeah, he says, basic ETA, your basic good roommate behavior. About basic good roommate behavior, that comment had nothing to do with children. JFC, follow the chain of comments. Kimness says, children are not roommates. This is a reasonable question. And Slutty Christmas Tree says, in fairness, how decorated are you, ma'am? Decorated are you? In fairness, I think they were responding to the comment referring to updating ETAs as good roommate behavior. Edit friends, I'm just commenting on not the comment above is erroneously comparing having kids to roommates, which they weren't. I'm not here to have a discourse on roommate etiquette. If you have a bone to pick about roommate behavior, my comment is not the one to reply to. Yeah, I never updated my roommates on my activities. Not their business. It is not their business. Until I go missing, it's not their business. BMW says NTA. There's a few things here. One, if you ask if she could feed the kid, not babysit. Two, she's perfectly capable of calling or texting you if she's worried about where you are. Three, her assumptions about how long you should be out for a hike and dinner are her problem, not a you problem. Four, she wants to shame you specifically for control. Shame you for being out so late. Shame you for making her worry. And I'm sure she will insinuate your kids were worried too. That's all BS because she never once contacted either of you. Yeah, she never once said, hey, where are you at? My advice to both of you until 3 o'clock at 2:30 in the morning. My advice to both of you is sit her down and be very clear with her that her behavior is absolutely unacceptable going forward. Please don't ask her to bring dinner again. Edit. Thanks for the awards. You got bye. J-Boy CJ says, NTA, just start randomly texting her throughout the day saying how disappointed you are that she hasn't checked in or told you her location. If you have to tell her where you are, she needs to tell you too. Obvious sarcasm, obviously, but my inner pettiness would have me seriously doing something like that. Hmm. This is from Overheard, and it is entitled, Will You Just Do Him So We Can Get Some Sleep? It's not safe for work. Just saying. Circa, circa 92. I'm living in a brand new circular apartment complex built around a pool on Highway 8 in East County, San Diego. That's awfully specific, ma'am. I don't know if it's a ma'am or a guy. It's a hot summer and we sleep in it with our windows open. I'm cursed with excellent hearing, and about one morning I can hear a man quietly but persistently pleading his bedmate to have sex with him. She's having none of it. This goes on for about half an hour. Eventually, a voice from one of the apartments calls out loud, Lady, will you just please do him so the rest of us can get some sleep? I don't think he ever got any, but their argument went from hushed to whispered. Sir, can you just take no for an answer? Optimal ad says, me, buddy, why don't you just jerk off so we can all get some sleep? There was a comment removed by moderator, to which the original commenter said, or his bedmate, who had to spend who knows how long saying no and probably ended up sleeping in the bathtub or dealing with sulking or something if she did hold out. Party performance, Oklahoma, I'm assuming, says okay. In college, one of our neighbors' Wi-Fi network was, we can hear you having sex, and they were right. We all heard each other all the time. Raising hell with trees says, I woke up early in my boyfriend's loft bed to the neighbors on the other side of the wall having sex. We clapped when they finished and they laughed. They shut a wall. Sometimes didn't even have a wall. College in 82. I once heard the upstairs neighbor having sex. The couple upstairs having sex. The sound was coming from the bathroom fan vent. I see raccoon traveling with my sister and staying in a motel overnight. We could hear the couple next door, a woman very loudly yelling, "Oh, Bobby," over and over. We decided to yell, "Oh, Bobby." It was suddenly very quiet in that room. I know that guy. Never had sex with him. Thank goodness, because he's a MAGA. Cheer off my chest, entitled, My father has been my biggest bully for 29 years. Tonight, he tried to punch me, and I finally realized he's just a sad, weak old man. Well, you should have figured that out about 10, 12 years ago, honey. I'm a 20-year-old guy. I'm fit. I run ultra marathons, sober, and I spent my whole life walking on eggshells around my father. He fights with everyone, his brothers, friends, his coworkers. He has physically abused me in the past, punched me in the head when I was a kid. The silence. It's not just the aggression, it's the neglect. In 29 years, I've never had a single one-on-one father father-son conversation. Not once. Whenever I try to speak to him, even about normal everyday things, he shuts me down. He refuses to make eye contact with me and is constantly avoidant. Because of this, I stopped seeing him as a father a long time ago. To me, that he's just a stranger I live with. Why are you still living with daddy when you're 29? Honey, move out. You deserve better for a father, and you need to move out. Incident. Tonight the power went out because the cat tripped over a wire. It was an accident. My father is currently very sick and physically weak. Heart problem, diabetes, high blood pressure, and his serious health conditions. He went into a rage. He started screaming at my sister and me, demanding we go out at midnight to buy an extension cord. We tried to de-escalate. I told him to calm down. He got in my face. Then he tried to punch me. The switch. In the past, I would have cowered, but tonight something switched. I didn't punch him back, but pushed him away to protect myself. Because he's weak, he fell down. I expected to feel horror and guilt. Instead, I felt nothing. Oh, that's not a good sign, honey. That's not a good sign. Actually, I felt good. I realized I wasn't scared of him anymore. I looked at him on the floor and asked, "It's been so long since you've been like this. What kind of father are you?" He looked at me and said, "So what?" Oh my. The aftermath. He told me to get the wing out of his house. Okay. My mother and sister told me to leave just to let things cool down. I walked out and eventually came back to sleep because I have nowhere else to go. He's hiding in his room now, silent. I think he realized that the physical intimidation card he used for 29 years has finally expired. He knows I could hurt him if I wanted to and knows I saw him fall. I'm glad it happened tonight. The monster in my head is gone. He's just a bitter landlord now. Edit. I live in Malaysia, South Asia. In our culture, it's very common for unmarried children to live with parents until their late 20s or 30s. It's not mooching. It's the family norm here. I didn't say you were mooching. I said you need to move out. And so maybe get married. Find a girl or a boy. It's currently 30 degrees, 80 Celsius, 86 degrees here at night. The accident didn't cut power to the house, it just shorted out a single extension cord in the living room. We had lights, fans, and power and everywhere else. My father wanted us to drive out to midnight to replace a $10 wire that could have easily waited until morning. His reaction, screaming and trying to punch me, was about control, not electricity. Update. Thank you for everyone reading these comments. It made me realize I'm not crazy and I'm not alone. To anyone else dealing with a bully at home, and honestly, for a lot of people, their first bully is one of their parents. The moment you realize they need your fear more than you need their approval, the game is over. You hold the cards now. Stay strong, stay sober, and don't let them drag you down to their level. P.S. To whoever says it's fake AI, you can check my progress on my profile. I post my sobriety journey there, and I'm proud of that. I'm not just here for points, I'm just sharing real life. Well, I'm proud of you for being sober. You should be proud of yourself for that too. Jesus Antonio Marta Jesus, maybe it's Jesus. Jesus Antonio Martinez says, my dad was very much like yours. The day the abuse stopped, I was 16. He tried to start an argument about a gay pride parade on TV, and I told him I didn't want to get into it. He flipped the dinner table over and came after me. I grabbed a butcher knife off the counter and told him he was never going to touch me again. He said I wouldn't stab him, but stayed out of range. He started taunting me, telling me I wouldn't always have a weapon handy. I said, maybe, but you have to sleep sometime, MFer. And he wanging smiled at me and told me I was tougher than my older brothers because they never stood up to him. He was wanging proud that he turned me into a vicious, violent a-hole like him. That is weird. Why are people so weird? First time I met my now wife, he took a swing at me and I tried to turn down the stereo during dinner. By that point, I'd been boxing and kickboxing for 15 years. I swatted his arm down, leaned in, and told him if he ever raised his hand to me again, I'd forget he was a pathetic old man. He put his head down and keep eating. I turned down the music. He died years ago, and if he had a grave, I'd piss on it monthly. It's a good thing he doesn't have a grave then, because I would hate for you to get in trouble for urinating in public. Yeah, I do not understand people. Why are you like that? Who hurt you? And why do you feel the need to hurt others? Because you were hurt. Because you know that's what it is. Either that or you're a psychopath. Next is from What Do I Do? And is entitled I Quit Smoking Weed and My Boyfriend is Mad About It. Update. Edit. I've turned notifications off for this post now. Thank you everyone for your help and kind words. For anyone wondering what happened, I tried to talk to my boyfriend. I posted late on the 6th of February and how I've quit smoking cold turkey. Oh yeah, I remember that. And my boyfriend is mad I haven't just cut down. If you haven't seen it, it would best to go to my profile and find it. We read that the other day. I tried to talk to him about it this morning, and he shut down immediately. I asked him to please explain to me how it feels to him, and he said, I don't even care what you do. I don't care. Do whatever you want, and walked away from me. Today is my son's 13th birthday. Happy birthday. Now a teenager. And my boyfriend has been silent and absent the whole day. He's still smoking weed as much as he always was. He was speaking to his mom on the phone like nothing was going on. He's still chatty and messaging his friends. I've just brought it up again by reassuring him nothing has changed between us and I'm not leaving. I also said I don't think any less of him because he smokes, and he rolled his eyes and said nothing. I feel like I'm hitting a wall, to be honest. On a good note, I haven't smoked a joint in 7 days clean and sober. Congratulations on your 7 days. This was a month ago. Um, I'm thinking this relationship is doomed, not because he's smoking, because of his attitude around it. Like, I'm not breaking up with you because you're smoking and I quit. I'm breaking up with you because you have a bad attitude about it. Isabellic says, I read the last post and honestly, it may be time to just focus on you and your kids. I'm not sure why he is feeling the way he does, especially when you don't care he's still smoking. I'm a partner of someone who also smokes, and I really don't do it myself. I care that he does it? Not really. That's his deal and seems to be your attitude as well. Maybe time to cut your losses with him. Best of luck. Yeah, everybody's saying they do that. I wonder if there's an update. No, no updates since the last one. She does post quite a bit in this forum. Mildly infuriating. I don't know why. Here is an 89-degree angle. Have a good day. Why is that infuriating? It's just an 89-degree angle. It's not a 90-degree angle. It's an 89-degree angle. There is nothing to be angry about here. Unless you're anti-angle. That's not how that works, sweetie. Then there's just a bunch of memes. Like a whole bunch of memes. I don't know why why you have to be angry though. I don't get it. I don't get the anger. Somebody that clearly not 90-degree angle and says, "Here's a 90-degree angle. Prove me wrong." I said that's an 88-degree angle. Have a good day. It's no longer mild anymore. Mod's cut off his balls. Somebody did a 91-degree angle. It's silly. It's not even infuriating. It's just silly. Next is am I overreacting? And yeah, I know we had one or the other. That was the one from them last week or something. Am I overreacting for eating my own birthday cake in front of my nephew? No. So it was my birthday yesterday. I'm 20s, living at home right now, and not with my parents to save money. My sister Kayla came over for dinner with her 4-year-old son Leo. Quick context: Kayla is extremely strict about Leo's diet, like no processed sugar, no dyes, basically no fun food ever. I think it's a bit much, but I usually stay out of it. I've known parents like this more than one, and it's silly. Like when you restrict someone so much, like food is supposed to be fun sometimes. I know kids that go to certain places and fill their pockets with candy because they get none at home. So that when they have an opportunity, they will take as much as they can, and they will make themselves sick on it. I know people who have candy in the house and won't let their kids eat it, but it's okay for the grown-ups. It's weird. Okay, so bought myself a nice expensive chocolate cake for my birthday. I didn't ask anyone to pay for it. I just wanted a specific one from a local bakery. After dinner, I brought it out. Kayla immediately got tense and asked why I couldn't wait until they left to bring it out. I told her it's my birthday dinner and I wanted cake. My parents were having fruit, but I sat down and started eating a slice. Good for you. Leo obviously saw it and started asking for some. Good for Leo. Kayla told him it's yucky and bad for him. He started crying because he's 4 and it's a giant chocolate cake. Poor little baby. Poor little kid. Kayla lost it. She called me a brat and said I was taunting a child and disrespecting her parenting by eating it in front of him. Your parenting deserves to be disrespected because it's stupid. A piece of chocolate cake is not gonna hurt your 4-year-old, promise. Promise. In our family, we get a whole cake to ourselves on her 1st birthday. My mother-in-law made them for all of the grandkids. I don't have to make them. I would make them, but I don't have to because they have a great aunt for that, who makes amazing cakes. She's an amazing baker. So I don't make the cake, but I would. But I would if I had to. If something happens to her, I would do it. And I would probably make the cakes for my other grandkids because they won't have that aunt if I have any more, which I may not. And that's okay. Um, she ended up grabbing her stuff and leaving early while Leo was still sobbing. Poor Leo. I feel so bad for him. I don't know if that's a bird or a leaf. And I'm not putting my glasses on to find out. Now my mom is saying I shouldn't have done that and I should have just waited an hour to eat my own cake to keep the peace. I feel like I'm going crazy. It's my house, well, my parents' house, but I live here, and my birthday. Am I actually overreacting by thinking she's being insane? No. And they locked the comments. Wonder how long it took for them to lock the comments. I don't know. Can't tell. Judy McJudgerson. Oh, I like her. She should come join us. Said, so she's not going to let him go to the other kids' birthday parties. Or is she going to demand those kids wait until her precious baby leaves the house to have their cake too? Yeah, how has this kid not been to a birthday party yet? He's 4. He should have friends. Your sister's an idiot. Beauchamp quoted, "Your sister's an idiot," she says. And they say this. She sure she has the right to raise her kids the opposite of the entire planet. However, she does not have the right to force the entire planet to change for her kid. Exactly. There's some replies to that one. Deleted. Oh. Oh. There was a comment downvoted 65 times and removed by the moderator. I want to know what that said. Because the answer to it was you contradicted yourself in the whole so hard in the last sentence unless you're being facetious. Halosaurus says, yeah, if she really wants her kid to not have sweets, that's fine. That isn't the issue. The issue is how she goes about it. She's doing no one any favors with how she's doing this. Everyone just feels crappy. First, she needs to help teach her child how to regulate, which means she needs to regulate herself first and manage not having what others have. Or you let them have a little bit. It's not going to kill them. She just wants OP to make it easier for herself, not for her kid. I'll say this as a relatively new parent of a toddler and a therapist. She has shown her kid that if you don't get what you want, in this case for OP to not to eat cake in front of her kid, then you can throw a tantrum. Hi says, not an answer to that, but an answer to the original commenter. Says, yeah, this trend that I've noticed a lot with millennial and now older Gen Z parents. They get so hell bent on trying to fix things that they hated from their childhood that they go to extreme to eliminate any possible thing they dislike from their kids' lives. Who doesn't like sugar, though? They think they are doing the right thing, but they don't realize how much they are sheltering their kids and not letting their kids learn how to overcome unfamiliar, uncomfortable scenarios. Yeah, those are millennials that do that. Kids need to learn these skills in order to become competent adults. In this scenario, the mother is not teaching her kid healthy food habits. She is not teaching her kid how to enjoy something in moderation. There's a very good chance this type of parenting will lead to the kid to unhealthy eating habits like extreme binging and no willpower when it comes to foods. They were never allowed to be near them. Yeah, and this is why I have a problem with TV. There's a lot of deleted comments on here. So answer to a deleted comment says the parents were having fruit, but he decided to have cake. To me, that implies he would have shared if the parents didn't have fruit. He probably offered everybody, I'm sure. As an adult, I wouldn't make a conscious decision to eat stuff in front of my niece or nephew that's not allowed to have it. Like, I know that kid and love that kid, but why would I do something that I know is going to hurt a 4-year-old's feelings, especially when it's over me eating cake about myself and I'm an adult and they got downvoted 31 times because they deserve it. Like, I shouldn't have to change my life because of your kid. I ate meat in front of my nieces and nephews their entire lives. Well, yeah, I guess it was 2 when I met them. Nobody ever had a fit about it. Your mom as a hoe says, "The decision you would make isn't the deciding factor for how anyone is supposed to live their lives. It was OP's parents' house. He bought the cake and it was his birthday. He couldn't eat the cake. He could eat the cake whenever he wanted to. He doesn't have to base his decision around the actions of one adult." Exactly. Okie Hiker again answers, "I'm just saying that if I were in OP's position as an adult who has the ability to wait an infinite amount of time before eating a treat, I would be basing my decision on the child in the room." No, you shouldn't do that because that kid has to learn how to handle people having things in front of them that he's not allowed to have because he's gonna be in school in a year. You think lunch is gonna be and yeah, and what about school treats at school for birthdays and stuff? Are are other kids not allowed to bring treats to school because this one kid? No. Also, do you not drink alcohol if kids are around? I mean, I don't, but I wouldn't, but that's my choice. But if I was an alcoholic drinker, I mean, I've seen people do it. It's fine. Kids know that they can't have certain things. My when the kids were really younger, they knew they couldn't have popcorn because little kids shouldn't have popcorn. It's can get stuck in their throats, and that's not. You don't want that. You can't have a not cut up hot dog because it'll get stuck in your throat. You can't have a whole grape because it'll get stuck in your throat. I can have a whole grape because I'm not gonna get stuck in my throat. Unless it's very, very big. I've seen some grapes in my time. I have a picture of one, I think, somewhere. Crotch fruit tree says she must have kids. That's funny. It's entirely normal to eat things kids can't have around them. Don't make a big deal and answer their questions. I wouldn't. Would I have waited till they left? Probably. Is it the end of the world? No. What is the issue? Mom lying to the kid instead of saying it's gross and give kind but honest answer and redirect. That's uncle's birthday treat to himself. It goes pretty far. Offer what the grandparents are having. Is explain the restriction to a kid in a friendly way. Lying will fast track a disordered relationship with food. Speaking from experience on this, we've had multiple allergies and their dad is diabetic. Also runs in the family on both sides. I also limit certain dyes and additives. My name is Amos says your sister is setting the stage for an eating disorder. Exactly. I'm not saying that says this is going to be the kid who is the only one not allowed to eat cake when he's invited to a birthday party. Yeah, exactly. Sunshine Shady says this is going to be the kid answers this is going to be the kid who develops a phobia about birthdays because he knows that's when his eating disorder started. Preschooler says this is going to be the kid that bunges on junk when mom isn't looking. She can't control him in school. And a lot of teachers nowadays provide snacks, especially if they're in a non-wealthy area. The teachers will have snacks because the kids aren't getting enough to eat at home. And even if you are in a wealthy area, there are kids who aren't getting enough to eat at home. Roots and Chalice answers, this is going to be the kid that has a massive stash of chocolate bar and candy wrappers underneath his bed. Yes, 100%. This is from Confession, and it is entitled, I do effective work for 30 minutes a week. The rest I just do my house chores. I have been working for a tech project for 3+ years, and during the first year, I did my work right, putting enthusiastic effort into it and working all hours, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. It has always been 100% remote, so nobody could ever know what I'm actually doing. About 1.5 years in, I got a raise, small but not really much after taxes. And from there, it was clear that my company would not give me another raise anytime soon. So I'm stuck with that paycheck unless I quit and get hired somewhere else. So for the second year on, I lost interest. I lost enthusiasm and I just started to work the minimum possible ASAP as slow as pardonable. That's cute. Just being fast when something was urgent. So every time I have a performance review, I get really good feedback because the little I do well, and I'm always answering the few messages I get during the week. So I calculate that I do effective real work for 30 minutes a week. At first, I feel really guilty about it, but now I don't care at all. I'm just surprised they haven't fired me yet. Anyone else in tech feels the same. I mean, I had a job where I was at, I had to be there. And sometimes days were like that where I worked very minimally. I think Christmas Eve, year before last, I did literally nothing. Literally nothing. There were two of us. We did literally nothing because nobody was there. It was Christmas Eve. By the time noon came around, everyone that had been there and didn't need anything from us, everyone that had been there was gone. There was literally no one in the building but us and my friend that was the janitor. So they'd all vamoosed. The guys, okay, that's a deer. The guys that were cohorts that did a different type of job, I think they were gone because they didn't have anything to do. Why be there? They did let us go at 2, but I ended up staying until 3 anyway because there were things that could have waited. There were things that could have waited. Some clarifications in an edit. People who have the same position as me in the company go above and beyond and haven't had any major raises either. Our company doesn't make a yearly adjustments for inflation or anything like that. If I would take another job, I would actually be enjoy putting in the effort. I'd earn 30 to 50% less. My skills are fine, they're just used for less time. The company already has 2 massive layoffs during these 3 years. Very good workers were fired simply because they made more money than me, and more foreign people were hired. More than being substituted by AI, would be substituted by AI. He's being racist. Now he's being racist. Very fitting quote. Recently, I've worked more, about 3 hours a day. I feel almost have no time for myself. Kidding people. It's just pretty chill. I also had my evaluation recently and received very nice feedback. My leader said my work has made the team's work easier, so I'm happy about that. My son has a job he literally works 2 minutes a day. The rest of the time is sitting at his desk reading Reddit and watching videos. Just like that. They're like emergency jobs, and you sit around and wait for an emergency, or you sit around and wait for somebody to ask you for something. We're caught up. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with sitting around. I got nothing to do. Sorry. The lead said I'd come to the same conclusion. Been at my job for 15 years. I get along well with the people I work with, but I'm the only accountant, so no one really understands what I'm doing or how long anything should take. I got my job down to being able to do it in 2 or 3 days a week over COVID, and the rest I just watch TV while I'm keeping spreadsheets open. My work from home day, I sleep in and answer the occasional email. I don't feel guilty because they don't value us at all. That's the thing. Companies do not value people anymore. It's all about the investors and nothing about the employees. Wish that that would change back, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. Capitalism sucks, by the way. Best of Redditor updates and is entitled Me, 28 female, with my significant other, 28 male. He cheated on me with my stepsister, 27 female, and she's pregnant with his kid. That sounds like a joy. Where was this originally posted? Really posted in relationships, and it doesn't say that. uh, Posted July 18th, 2015, so this is about 10 years old. Adam, says he was drunk. That is no excuse. None for anything ever. We've been together for 10 years and finally got engaged and planning on getting married in a year and starting a family in a few years. She bad advantage of him. Yeah, okay. This is the first time. Adam doesn't have an excuse for the handful of other times they slept together over the 3-month period. Okay, Adam. I don't know why, but these help. She knew she was pregnant. I've already been roped by my mom into co-hosting the baby shower with my other stepsister Claire. I would not be doing that. I don't know if it's shock or what, but I'm so wanging glad I haven't given Claire my share for the expense of jogging stroller we're getting Betty, or my half of the baby shower cost. Betty told everyone the father is an ex-boyfriend who doesn't want anything to do with her or the kid. She makes a ton of money and would be fine as a single mom, and my mom would help out a ton since she's retired and boards and wants a Duggar family's worth of grandchildren. Well, that's her first mistake. Holy cow. Who wants 30 some grandchildren? I think they already have 30 some grandchildren. Let's find out. How many grandchildren do the Duggars have? Yeah, they have over 36. 36 to 40 grandkids already. That's a lot of grandkids. Where are you going to get all those? Are all your kids going to have 20 kids like the Duggars did? Okay. Adam confessed everything because his dad walked out on him and his mom when he was a toddler. So he wants to be a father to this child, but still be with me because he loves me and made a mistake. So you slept with her 5 times over a 3-month period, but that was a mistake. It was a mistake that one time she got pregnant. It was a mistake. I told him to get the Wang out of my apartment. Thank Wang we don't live together right now. We've lived together previously, but his mom wasn't doing well, so he moved in with her. Yeah, was that the reason why he moved in with her? Was because of you? Because he didn't really want to be with you all the time. His mom is fine now, so apparently he used this newfound freedom to Wang my stepsister. Although a bunch of this crap is at my apartment because he was supposed to be moving in like a month and was bringing crap over slowly. I called my mom and told her who the real father of Betty's baby is, just because she's my mom and she'd listen to me. She'll listen to me cry. My wanging knew already, read it. Apparently, in a fit of sadness over missing her deceased mother who died when she was like 2, Betty told my mom. They all, mom, Claire, and my stepfather, have wanging known for months. Your family is atrocious, OP. Atrocious. Months. Meanwhile, I'm over here killing myself trying to find the perfect floral arrangement for the tables for Betty's baby shower because I'm trying to be all sisterly and crap. I'm being the bigger person because she sure as heck, Betty wouldn't have as much effort into my baby shower if I were to have one, and she was hosting or co-hosting it, or have as much money, even though she makes a crap load more than me. You need to stop doing that. You're just hurting yourself. You're being an a-hole to yourself. My own mother couldn't wangy tell me that my wanging fiance fathered my wanging stepsister's wanging baby. No, in fact, she wanging guilt tripped me for into being co-host for the baby shower as soon as she found out Betty was pregnant. I think she found out Adam was the father. I think before she found out Adam was the father. I think. Mom apparently, well, the general gist is she wants us to all get along and be a family. And it doesn't matter about the past. It just matters about the new life in the family. No, 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 no. That's not how life works. I think she knows I'm upset and hurt, but I need to work on my relationships with Adam since we have been together 10 years, and I wouldn't want to throw that away over a mistake. Sunk cost fallacy. And Betty, since we're sisters and we've been since we were kids. I don't know what kind of fallacy that is, but it ain't right. And I figured out how to be the bigger person and put my feelings aside for the sake of the kid and their family. No, no, that's not how that works. I've always been the bigger person with Betty. From the moment we were first introduced at the tender ages of 8, 10, and 9, she refused to give me my favorite stuffed animal back. And even then, Mom felt bad for her and let her get away with being a brat. And she got Mrs. Snuffles home while I had to suck it up and be the bigger person. She probably still has poor Mrs. Snuffles in a box in my mom and stepfather's attic. A trophy for her first many victories over me. I hung up on my mother. Good for you. Could you please buy a shiny backbone for yourself? That would be a good thing to buy right now. And here I am posting on Reddit. I don't want to be Betty's kid's stepmother. I don't think I can ever forgive Adam, and you shouldn't. He knows what Betty's like and how our relationship is. Hell, I don't even know if I can forgive my mom, and she's like my mom. She was a great mother, one of my best friends. The only wrong things about her was her nasty habit of being Betty and let her getting away with murder, and her crappy knitting that she always gives as gifts. I don't know how she can justify this betrayal in any way. It wasn't me that screwed up 10 years of a relationship or mine and Betty's supposed sisterly bond. It was them. Maybe I should talk to her and ask if someone slipped crazy pills into her food the last few months. Or maybe she's getting early dementia or something. Wang, I don't know. No, they got to her first. That's the only thing that's the only thing. They got to her first. They got to her first and were able to tell her the story. And then it's really, really, really hard to get somebody to acknowledge something after they hear it first from somebody else. After they hear somebody else's story first. I kept looking at the text message from Claire. She sent me to Wanging early this morning and asked when I was giving her my share of the $800 jogging stroller we're getting Betty. And you're never getting it. You're never getting that money. Sorry. Take it back. Take it back. Get her something else. Get her an $800 stroller. And my share of the baby shower costs, that's going to be worth a crappy Craigslist car. No. Edit. It is wrong to reply to tell her to go wang herself because I did. We put all the crap on her credit cards and she's in school and working a crappy retail job. And I feel bad leaving her with the huge ass debt over $3,000. Everything can be returned, or most of it can. That stroller for sure can. I keep telling myself she can return the stroller, cancel stuff, sell the stuff that can't be returned, and probably my stepdad and mom will help her with the rest. Exactly. Another edit. I mass texted our friends telling him that Adam was a cheating bastard who was Betty's baby daddy. We've been together so long that all of our friends were friends with us most. The only people I'm friends with who aren't friends with them are basically just acquaintances I don't feel comfortable talking about this with. Then I turned my phone off. I swear to God, if any of them knew if any of them knew or take him side, what if all of them knew? God. This poor girl, I feel bad for her. I feel so bad for her. Tomorrow, my mom's out of their house at her weekly volunteering gig. I'm going to go over to their house. I have a key, but chances are my stepdad is home and he'll let me in and go back to watching TV. Great man. My stepsister's got a woman who tried to mother them without replacing their mother and overcompensating like hell. I got a dude that will occasionally nod at me and sometimes give me a deal on rent when the family plays Monopoly. I got stuff in the attic I was keeping there until I had a house of my own. Plus, I want to find Mrs. Snuffles. Oh, I'm going to raid my mom's jewelry box, which sounds bad, I know, but I only take the stuff my grandmother left me, I promise. I was letting my mom borrow it because I felt bad that Grandma willed it all to me and skipped her. Mom's an only child, and I figured I'd just get it back when my mom died in 40 years, which I'll freely admit is wanging stupid of me because I could just see Betty whining that she didn't have any of grandmother's jewelry to leave to grandmother's jewelry and isn't fair. And probably my grandma knew what she was doing leaving it to me instead. I wish she was alive. She'd tear my mom a new one. Hopefully everything will be there and she won't be wearing anything. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I want it just in case. You know what? If she's wearing something, that's just a loss. It's not the whole loss. I don't think she'd give it away to Betty or Claire or anything, but I also don't think she'd betray me like this. So it's my jewelry. She's borrowing it indefinitely. Well, indefinitely has expired. I just Figured I'd let her keep it until she died because it was her mom's, but it's mine. I can't trust her not to give any of it away to Claire or Betty, and I don't want to have to talk to her if I decide to never speak to her again, so I'm going to get it tomorrow. We both know it's not mine. It's not stealing to decide not to loan it to her anymore. It means a lot to me, so I'm for sure getting it. I hope you have Grandma's will, a copy of Grandma's will in writing, so you can show the lawyers when they accused you of stealing it. Thank you all for your comments and advice so far. I'm going to bed to see what tomorrow brings me. Hopefully, all my family jewelry. Mrs. Snuffles and messages from everyone of my friends saying that they're never speaking to Adam again because he's a bastard. They won't forgive me if I take him back, and none of them have any ideas. Edit again. I'm a really bad person. I texted Betty. I hope your baby is born with Down syndrome. Oh, jeez, dude. Nah, no, this is not nice. It's not nice. I hope your baby is born with Down syndrome, which will be an interesting combination with the fetal alcohol syndrome. It's got a 90% chance of having since you drink more than your mother ever dreamed of drinking. And then I followed that up with a text calling her a cunt. And then another one that just said whore. Her mom died in a car crash she caused by drinking and driving. Oh, that's sad. That's really sad. I do kind of feel sorry for Betty, but she doesn't, hope he doesn't deserve this. And Betty is the type of person who has expressed more than once that people with disabilities like Down children should be killed because they don't have any use and they are a drain on society. And hoping it doesn't really mean she wants that to happen because she, you say things. You say things you don't mean and you say things to hurt people. Hurt people. And I get it. I feel kind of bad partly because it's a crappy thing to say to anyone and I'm a better person than that, and partially because reading that back, I don't really think that's much of an insult or anything, really. But what I do know is I've never been pregnant, and maybe I'll make her cry. And thanks to her, I'm probably not going to be pregnant anytime soon. I turned my phone off again just to keep it off. I toss it on top of the kitchen cupboard so I can't reach it without a chair. And I'm for sure going to bed now. What the wang do I do? Update August 17th, 2015, a month later. I kept my relationship cool as I turned 18 and moved out to go to college. I don't really have that sisterly bond. It's more like cousins you see at a family reunion bond. We tolerate each other. She knows I think she's a spoiled brat, and I know she thinks I'm a biatch because I won't take crap from anyone and I'll call her or anyone out on their crap. Mom's the only person I can cave to and allow myself to be guilted into crap and walked all over for. I'm not be I'm not a wallflower or welcome mat or anything. So yeah, a lot of what you said cut them all off. If I read my post, that'd be my advice too. Like I said, I don't take crap. I completely stopped being friends with my BFF since I was 8 when I was 22 because she was staying with me for a month and kept smoking in my apartment when I asked her not to, and then got witchy when I bluntly told her she was being a jerk. In general, I just didn't like the person she was growing into. So first, the day after my post, I went to my mom's house. No one was home, and I used my key. I grabbed my jewelry and the boxes of random crap I had sitting in the attic. I looked for Mrs. Snuffles, but I couldn't find her. I searched all of the Betty boxes and the Claire boxes just to be sure. I'm pretty sure the dog at the time destroyed her. No doubt Betty would have kept her all these years. I may or may not have cut up all of Betty's photos that I found. Oops. Was that a photo of your mom? I'm sure Claire has the photos of her, plus you have my mom, and so you'll be fine. No, I'm not proud of that, but well, they're sitting in the attic anyway, much like Adam. I had a lapse of judgment. I lapsed so hard I grabbed the kitchen scissors on my way to the attic. At least she feels bad about it. I mean, she's not a psychopath. She's just going through it. I will admit, a month later, I feel pretty crappy I did that. But the day after, I was still really raw and pissed, and yeah. When I got home, I finally checked my phone. There was a crap ton of messages from Mom, Claire, Betty that I deleted without really reading. Even an hour afterwards, I couldn't have told you what they said, but I bet in general I could guess. The messages I got from my friends were really disappointing. Like I said, they were all mutual friends that have never known Adam and I separate from a couple. Most of the replies were, "We care about you both." Only couple it said he was a bastard or anything. One person in fact knew. Adam had told his BFF a week before he told me, and his BFF strongly encouraged him to tell me. A lot of you weren't very kind about speaking about my mother, understandably, but she's not a narcissist or a bad person, really. She's too kind, and when she married my stepfather, she really felt bad for my stepsisters. It took it to extremes. Like I said, she was my best friend, and I had been toying with the idea of making her my matron of honor if we decided to have a wedding versus just going to Vegas, which we were seriously considering. I met my mother for lunch at a restaurant. She was upset with me for taking my jewelry without telling her, saying I should have left a note because she just about had a heart attack when she got home. My stuff was gone. Well, you could figure out what happened, lady. Maybe have half the care you have for your stepdaughters for your own daughter. I told her she should have told me as soon as Betty left that Adam was the father of her baby. She said she hadn't wanted to get involved. You're the mother, you're always involved or in the middle. And by telling me whether Adam or Betty should have would have meant she was involved. Plus, she was in shock that Betty told her that and wasn't really thinking about me. Oh, oh, yeah. Let's not think about the victim at all. I told her that happened most of the time when Betty was involved ever since we were first introduced. She tried to convince me to take Adam back. What kind of mother? Ugh, no, that I shouldn't waste 10 years together. I told you that cost fallacy. No, that's not how things work. I told her that Adam was the one who chose to throw away 10 years. She did tell me that she hadn't known when she mommed me into hosting the event that Adam was the father and that she and my stepfather would cover my share of the gift shower. Thank you. Thank you, Mom. It's the least you can do, but thank you. I told her I was her daughter. She gave birth to me, and I was not going to ever be able to forgive Betty. So if Mom wanted to keep being my mother, she needed to pick me for once. She said she couldn't do that because she had been Betty's only mother figure, and she wholly considered Betty her daughter. And she didn't really want to get involved still. I'm sorry, but your daughter screwed up, and now your daughter needs you. Pick one. You're going to have to pick one. If they were actually both your daughters, you'd still have to pick one. And you should pick OP over the slut. Excuse my language. She said that if she had given birth to all three of us, her decision would still be the same. Well, that's a bad decision, Mom. That's a bad decision. That's a terrible decision. I told her I was very sorry to hear that and I wished her well. I'd call her every now and then, but I was not going to see much of her or attend family gatherings, nor would any children of mine know my stepfamily. She said she was sorry to hear I was deciding that, but she hoped that I'd forgive and forget eventually and not tear the family apart. She's not the one tearing the family apart. Betty's doing that. I told her I was disappointed in her, but not particularly surprised, and that Betty was the one who wanged my fiance and tore the family apart. Exactly. Then I said goodbye, popped down my share of the bill, and left. I'll call her in a couple of months, but for now I've got her and my stepfamily on their ringtones, so I do not answer them. If she insists on talking about Betty, Adam, or their baby on her phone calls, I won't speak to her until she learns not to. That's exactly how you do that. Very good move, OP. Yeah, she kindly admonished me for what I texted Betty, but I shrugged and told her that she's getting involved by telling me I shouldn't have sent that. Yes, I realized I shouldn't have sent Betty that, but I was pissed and I finished off a bottle of wine, and frankly, she is a see you and to you next Tuesday. As for Adam, he showed up about a few days later after he told me with pizza, ice cream, and flowers. Ugh. Oh, Adam's a sick puppy. I had seen his stuff sitting by the door. I had his stuff sitting by the door and was more than willing to have him get it and go, but he convinced me to talk to him. Ugh. He confessed that while I lost my virginity to him, he has lost his to Betty a few weeks before. I feel like he punched me in the face. Oh my God, he's been wanging her for 10 years? I told him if I had known that, I would have dumped his ass then and spent the remaining 9.5 years not being held back because he didn't want to leave our city or go to trips outside of the country or get a freaking cat. He's super allergic. Or paint my nails. He's weird about nail polish. I haven't painted my nails since we started dating, seriously. Oh, go, honey, go get your cat. Go get a cat and get your nails done. If you're in Michigan, I know a good place in Brighton. You can do that. I told him I wasn't going to be Betty's baby stepmother, and that I wanted to live 100% Betty free life, and that if I were to take him back, he would have no contact with the woman he cheated me. No, no. Why are you considering taking him back? What's wrong with you, OP? He would have no contact with the woman he cheated on me with, and she's probably not the only one. That's the thing. Cheat with one person, you're going to cheat with others, which obviously wouldn't be possible if he's the kid's dad. He said that Betty told him there was a chance he wasn't the father after he told me because, like I said, she's a see you next Tuesday. I told him there was a chance he was, though, and I wasn't going to risk it. Plus, that didn't change the fact that he'd betrayed me when we were first together and last year, and that was 2 times too many. And he asked if we could still be friends, and I'm 90% sure the internet will back me when I told him I'd think about it. Think about it. No. No chance in hell of that happening. I talked to my dad. He lives across the country, and we're on great terms, even though we only saw each other during the summer when I grew up. I really like my stepmother, but our relationship has always been a bit shadowed because, well, I was a dick and firmly pushed her away not to hurt my mom's feelings, which I'm pretty sure is a sort of weird irony. My dad offered to pay to get me out of the rest of my lease and let me live in one of his rental houses for free if I want to move to a city. I'm going to do it. I got a buttload of savings to last me while I find a job. Good for you. Good dad. Where's where's dad's green flag? Daddy needs a green flag. Yay, daddy. Green flags for dad. I never wanted to stay in our home city forever, and I think being 2,000 miles away from my mom and the rest of them will really help. I think it will too. To work on my relationship with my stepmother too. First, I'm going to do when I see her is apologize. I quit my job. I have spent the last few weeks relaxing, packing, planning, speaking to a therapist, looking at cats up for my adoption in my dad's city. Good for you. And reaching out to the handful of friends I have from there. When I'd visit dad in the summer, hopefully someone will click. Someone will click, and I'll have at least one good friend there. That's great. Yeah, somebody will remember you and go, "Oh, I remember you. You were a lot of fun. I wished we'd had more time rather than just the summers." I bought myself way too much nail polish, got a manicure, and money and a lot of money on a pair of boots I've wanted since forever, but had held off because, couldn't splurge like that because I was getting married. So everything's going to be okay, I think. Thank you to everyone who commented and PM'd me um, with advice and sympathy. Mountain Arm is the top comment. It says, OOP's mother doesn't take sides and doesn't like to get involved, but coincidentally, she always seems to be on Betty's side, wouldn't you know? Friend to Predator says, not taking sides equals doing the default thing I want to do. So this was 10 years ago. I wonder if there's anything. Well, she got a new boyfriend. Also says she's only 20. Oh, no, that was her complaining about her. That was her complaining about her then boyfriend. Oh, duh. I'm in the wrong person. Never mind. That's the wrong person. Oh, P. Here we go. No. No more posts. No posts, no comments. Just those 2 posts. They've both been removed from relationships. That's a bummer. All right. Next, we have Made Me Smile, of course. It's a good one. It's entitled Marcus. Marcus from customer service says, I'm just going to give you a full refund. Thanks, Marcus. That was easy. Marcus, customer service. It's no problem. Honestly, I just want to get out of here. I got my daughter's a new dog and I just want to go home and play with that puppy. Marcus is cool. I like Marcus. Abyss Wanker Artorius says based Marcus. Pop and Salem says, I'm going to assume Marcus has just put in his notice and on chill mode as he prepares for a new chapter in his life with a better job, better hours, allowing him to be with his daughters more. I hope so. I hope Marcus is doing well. My wall will not talk says everyone has a life outside of the work they do. This father prioritized what is important to him. I hope the company he works for appreciates this. Tipper, he got a strike for not pushing back on the refund. Snarkium Revelio says, part of my job is auditing customer service reps. I absolutely would not dock Marcus, even if this was out of protocol, though I know your assumption is more likely. Gotta respect his priorities. Longing Look says, she does the same work. And says that they would not dock Snarkium Revelio. And it just keeps going. All right, that's all I got for the day. Obviously, I'm having another coughing fit. I don't know why. I don't know why it says so bad. Yesterday, I hardly coughed at all. All right. We'll see you on Tuesdays. On Tuesday. Not more than one Tuesday. Ooh, this is pretty. This is pretty. I gotta find out what place this is. Learn about this picture. I have the Port Venier, Liguria, Italy. It looks like a little castle. It's kind of cool. Oh, well. I will see you on Tuesday, biddies. Have a good weekend. Have a lovely time. Because I'll be having a lovely time going to wrestling. Bye-bye, biddies. Love you. Bye. Bye.